I think I've told you several times before that you save marriages. I'm
Mm,
sure because when going through menopause, I was experiencing vaginal dryness,
mm,
and I was experiencing things where I wasn't even in the mood, or it just didn't feel the same. So
mhm,
so between coming to you to get my my hormone replacement therapy,
mhm.
and along with that veggie lift, I think the two of those married together
Absolutely.
just makes life, it just make life, make you feel so much hope again. So after the third one, I feel like I was I went back into virginity.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Taiwo Durowade from Dardur Gynecology, here to make uncommon knowledge common. And I am here with my favorite patient. She asked me to say that.
Yeah.
Master esthetician. You can see how beautiful she is.
Thank you.
An author of her own memoir titled Shots Fired. Um, and she's here today to share her experience with the Femilift Vaginal Laser Rejuvenation.
Yes.
Tracy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so
Good.
much for taking the time to do this. It means a lot to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My first question is, how did you hear about me? How did you find me?
So my sister is a patient of yours, and I already had a gynecologist, and she was begging me to change and come to my doctor. She's so amazing. And once you get so comfortable with the doctor, it's so hard to switch.
Mhm.
But she made it seem so easy and seamless to just switch over, because I used to work in Oak Brook and my gynecologist is based out of Naperville. So
Oh,
I was traveling from where I live in South Suburbs
oh wow.
way to Naperville to my doctor.
That's
And
far.
then some things happened that that made it easier for me to switch over. So, I called my sister, like, where is she? What, 5 minutes away from home, Dr. D.
Wow.
So, and then, I had a hard time getting in because of your popularity. It's so hard to get in. I mean, it was, but then you made it so easy for me to get in. So, if people think that it'll be hard to get in with you, that just reach out. And if I think that you are good at making accommodations,
Thank
and if there's a dire need to get in to see you, I don't think anybody would have any problems with that.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Yes. Yes.
Um, And so I like to go over some of the symptoms that kind of prompted you to seek out this particular treatment. And one of the biggest ones that bring women to this is that bladder leak,
Yes.
that happens because you've had pregnancies, you've had
Yes.
vaginal births, or even C-section births. Just the
Yes.
fact that there is this big pressure on your pelvic floor for almost 10 months, 40 weeks at a
Yes.
time. And so it really weakens that pelvic floor. And over time, as we get older into menopause, we don't have that estrogen support anymore, and the bladder is just no longer supported. How long did
Yes.
you say you were dealing with those symptoms, Tracy?
Um, I had been dealing with these symptoms for as long as I could remember. And just to add to what you just said, in my specific case, I was pregnant, gave birth to my daughter, and 4 weeks later, I was pregnant again. So, so my my bladder was
Yeah.
malfunctioned from the point of having my first two children in my 20s. So, being pregnant for that long, and then a couple of years after that, had another child. But
Okay.
I did have four vaginal births,
Yeah.
and I think I really started noticing it because I laugh a lot and I'm very expressive, and when you sneeze, and I was a runner. I'm a 30-time marathoner.
Ooh.
And I noticed that my urinary incontinence was getting worse the
Worse.
more I was running. So I
Mm,
don't know how that contributed to it. But even as a runner, I was noticing it more and more. And then I started getting chronic UTIs.
mm,
And it's just, I think it just gradually got worse over time.
yeah.
But then I really started noticing it in menopause because
Mm,
and again, I don't know how all of these things align,
mhm,
but when I came to see you, and I thought I had been doing everything up to that point,
mm,
like Kegel exercises
mhm,
and pelvic floor. I was even going to physical therapy for these pelvic floor
mhm.
treatments that they were giving me and helping me to strengthen
Yeah.
the pelvic floor and the pelvic muscle,
Mhm,
but none of that was working. And
mhm.
if anybody out there have ever been doing pelvic exercises or Kegels, that's that's strenuous.
It is.
It's
It's a lot of
it's
commitment.
a lot. Yes, it's
It
a lot
is.
of commitment, a lot of trying to remember, and a lot of work to do it.
Yeah.
So when I explained to you those symptoms, you had the remedy right away. And I was skeptical because, it's like I thought I had tried everything.
Mm.
But then I said, okay, what would it hurt to give it another try? And if it works, great. And what's the worst that could happen? I don't have anything else to lose. So,
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So the I want to bring it how it all plays together. So whenever you're running, you are putting pressure on your there's downward pressure. Whenever you're sneezing, there's downward pressure. Remember, you kind of clamp down
yes,
on your stomach. Whenever you're jumping, the same thing. And so those pelvic floor muscles are supposed to hold up so your bladder stays up. But whenever you bear down, if they give way, your bladder leaks, right? And then estrogen also helps to support those muscles. When we get into menopause, there's less estrogen, those muscles are no longer supported. So all those years of the weakening of the muscles and loss of estrogen support just makes the incontinence more pronounced in that menopause phase. So I hope that
that makes
explains it.
sense. That makes sense.
Um, and you're right. I usually start with pelvic floor therapy. So the doctors were right. That is the first step in trying to strengthen those muscles. Like any muscles you want to make stronger, you kind of build it. But like you said, a lot of work, a lot of commitment, a lot to remember. By the time you do your job throughout the day, take care of your children, you've forgotten to do the exercises. So that's
Yes.
the one thing that prompts people to look for something more permanent, something quicker.
Yes.
All right. My next question, how was the procedure for you?
It took very little effort. Very
It's
little effort on my part.
like, I'm busy. I don't have time.
You probably exerted more energy with the procedure than I experienced.
Wonderful, wonderful. And was there any pain with the procedure?
No. So it's as simple as a pap smear, and you insert the laser tube
Mm.
and you could feel as the laser is, as it's
Like
inserted.
delivered, yeah.
Yes, you could feel the sensation of it. But
Mm.
as far as pain, very, 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 I mean, no pain at all.
Wonderful.
You just feel the sensation from the laser.
From the laser? Wonderful, wonderful. When did you start noticing that things were getting better?
So I think probably a week after the first procedure was when I started noticing. And then I was even trying to force myself to cough or, and I just to see what I could feel. But I still work out. So even like I do jump training, plyometrics
Mhm.
training, and even from the first treatment, about a week after, I could jump train and do all of those things without feeling like anything is leaking out. So I would
Wonderful.
say from after the first week of getting the first procedure,
Wow.
I started feeling the effects from it.
And by after the third one, what would you say are your results?
So after the third one, I feel like I was I went back into virginity. After the third one, things were. I mean, there were so many more benefits than the
Mm.
urinary incontinence, but my initial focus was on the urinary
Urinary
incontinence.
incontinence.
But
Hmm.
then my husband started noticing the difference sexually, and and of course he feels the things that I don't feel, but I
Yeah.
felt, sensation that that I didn't normally feel. So if my our sex, it was enhanced. I have not had one UTI
TI.
since I have gotten those. I had to get three. So
Hmm.
I got one per month
Hmm.
on clockwork. Like every fifth of the month for 3 months, I came in and got the procedure.
Hmm.
Because after the first one, you see the results from the first one. I'm like, oh, I cannot wait till the fifth. And after the third one, you think, if it's this good already, how good is it
Hmm.
going to be after the third one?
Yeah.
And it just amazing, amazing results after the third one. And again, I used to get a UTI every month.
Wow.
And then after getting this veggie lift, oh my God, things, I'm telling you, I think I've told you several times before that you save marriages. I'm
Mm.
sure. Because when going through menopause, I was experiencing vaginal dryness,
Mm.
and I was experiencing things where I wasn't even in the mood, or it just didn't feel the same. So
Mhm.
between coming to you to get my my hormone replacement therapy,
Mhm.
and along with that veggie lift, I think the two of those married together
Absolutely.
just makes life. It just make life, make you feel so much hope again. I think a
Mhm.
lot of women going through menopause think that this is part of the menopausal process, and that we
Mhm.
have to live like this and we have to
Mhm.
deal with these things. But when there are remedies and solutions out there, it sometimes it's like, I don't care how much it costs, just give it to me. It's like
Mm.
you really want the relief, and you want to find something that works, and something that helps. And for
Absolutely.
you to tell me after these three, you probably don't need anything for 18 months to 2 years, and
Yeah.
we'll gauge it by how things are going and how you're
Yeah.
feeling, because
Yeah.
sometimes it could take even longer.
Longer.
So this is the holy grail. It's the holy grail of aesthetics for
Mhm.
gynecology, and for
Absolutely.
us going through what we're going through, and knowing that we don't have to live like this. There are ways that we can turn things around. But my vaginal dryness is no more. The urinary incontinence is gone. And
Wonderful.
then the sensations during intimacy with my husband is just exponentially
Oh
so
my
much better. And I have
goodness.
you to thank for that.
Yay! I'm so glad. This is excellent. Excellent
Yes,
results. And
yes,
like I said, I did get it for mostly vaginal dryness. And then I started noticing that people were like, oh, my bladder leakage has also gone away. And oh, I have more sensation as well during intercourse. I was like, okay, more
we're
steps
on to
come to
something.
something.
Yes, yes,
I'm so, so glad about your results. I'm really glad you chose to come. And like you said, you're a joyful person. You love to laugh. It's very fun to have you. Um, anything you will advise women. I mean, you already did. You already did. You kind
yes,
of.
yes.
So
I
the
mean,
next,
if you're on the fence about getting any procedures,
mm,
or what your experience is like, I know as an esthetician, everybody's experience and outcome
right,
is
right,
different,
right.
and you kind of don't know what will work for you, and what works for my friend may not work for me. But
Mm,
just coming in to talk to you,
mm,
there may be other things. If this is not for you,
mm.
you have a plethora of other
Yep,
things that you can offer and you can
yep,
introduce, or you can prescribe for any
yeah,
woman going through what she's going through, because it is different.
yeah.
Some people don't qualify. Some people have too many
True,
adverse
true,
reactions to
true,
laser and
true.
all of those things. But coming in, just if you're on the fence about coming in just to see if there's something that could work for you, get
Mm.
off the fence and get into Dr. D's office, Because like I said, and I cannot stress enough and say it enough, that you, I'm sure, are saving marriages.
Wow.
We get that sense of empowerment back, feeling like, you
Mhm.
know, I have something to offer my husband still.
Ah,
So and to offer our relationship, to keep our relationship enhanced and keep our
yeah.
intimacy strong, and without
Mhm.
feeling like I'm not in the mood. But if
Mhm.
you want something, or some kind of remedy, or some sense of, look, this treatment could help or it couldn't help, but what's the worst could happen? You go try it, and then if it doesn't work, you offer something else.
Something
But
else.
there is something out there for you. So talk to
Wow.
Dr. D, give her an opportunity to get you in and make an assessment and give your body what it needs to thrive.
Yes, yes. I think
Yes,
what you said there was powerful. You said, you know, that feeling of empowerment, feeling like I still have something to offer my relationship, and it's not just living with it and this is the life I have to live. I think that
yes.
that's empowering, and that's honestly my vision, my mission, helping women thrive,
Well,
just
you
getting
being so successful at it.
Thank you.
You're doing it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Tracy. This has been such fun. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you too, Dr. D.